What's up, fight fans? Welcome to Mr. Mustache MMA News. Today, I want to discuss this Saturday's main event in the UFC. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button to continue getting more MMA content by yours truly and to help the channel grow. All right, guys, getting right into it. We got Renato Moicano taking on Benoit Saint-Denis this Saturday in the lightweight division of the UFC in a fight that has a lot of implications for both fighters, right? You got Moicano riding a 3-fight win streak. You have Benoit, who is coming off the loss to Dustin Poirier back at UFC 299. At the time, Saint-Denis 5-fight win streak, all by finish, knocking out Matt Frevola UFC 295, knocking out Thiago Moises in the second round of their fight, taking out Ishmael Bonfim. I mean, the guy's just a straight berserker. But what Dustin Poirier was really able to capitalize off of Saint-Denis was kind of let Saint-Denis fall on his own sword, right? Now, he did have the staph infection. It was obvious. And I do think that that definitely played a factor into his cardio in that fight. But nonetheless, he made the walk, so you can't make any excuses. And Poirier was able to just capitalize. You know, he struggled a little bit kind of with the flurries and the pressure of Saint-Denis, but as his gas tank dwindled, Saint-Denis' pressure really didn't. And, like, you saw him lunging, loading up on his shots, just being very reckless with his game and just trying to force the finish on Dustin. And Dustin was able to counter him and just find the finish in the second round. So I'm curious to see how he bounces back here against Moicano, against a guy who also has a penchant of finding a way to win, right? His fight with Jalen Turner almost gets knocked out. Jalen tries to attempt the walk-off knockout, but the ref did not stop the fight, and Renato was able to come back in that second round and beat a dejected Turner. Because at that point, Turner had an adrenaline dump. He thought the fight was over. It reminded me a lot of like the Tim Kennedy fight with Yoel Romero, where once he thought the fight was over, once the fight restarted, his mind wasn't there anymore. And you kind of saw that with Jalen Turner. He was already distracted. His mind was elsewhere. Where Renato Moicano's sole focus was to get back into the fight. And he was able to get back into the fight, get the fight to the ground, and find the finish. That's what Moicano does. Doesn't always look good he doesn't always look pretty early on. Usually gets dropped. Usually takes a lot of punishment. But usually when guys hurt him, they go in for that finish, and Moicano is usually able to get a hold of them, get it to the ground, reverse it, get top position, a lot like his fight with Drew Dober, where it just was not looking good for him on the feet, and he was just able to just win the fight by top control and just getting Drew Dober to the mat and kind of holding him down. Did what he had to do to get the victory, right? And we've seen that time and time again, but Moicano's one of those dudes where he's just a bad motherfucker, hasn't really been able to reach that cusp of top 5 greatness. He's fought top guys, RDA, Rafael Fiziev, Korean Zombie, Jose Aldo. You know, those are all guys that he really did not come out on top of, but anybody else that he's fought that isn't like those top 5, top 7 dudes, Cub Swanson at the time, right? Calvin Cater, Jeremy Stevens, Demir Hadzovic, Jai Herbert, Alexander Hernandez, like all those guys, he's been able to just use his elite grappling ability. I mean, he only has one knockout, and that was against Jalen Turner in a fight where, I mean, he was just using his top pressure, right? So Moicano in this fight, his path to victory is, I mean, just weather the early storm, survive the first round against Saint-Denis, and hopefully that gas tank has gone down enough to where Moicano can now make it a dirty fight, get it to the ground. Now, Saint-Denis has a lot of submissions. He has 9 as to where Moicano has 10, but I think Moicano on the ground, I think that he'll have the position. I know that he will be lacking the strength, but I just see that Moicano on the ground, I think he really is that fucking good. He's that elite. He's a game changer when it comes to the grappling exchanges in his fights. And I think that if Saint-Denis, if he's smart, if he hurts Moicano, drops Moicano, let him stand up. That's what he has to do. But Moicano, he's got to make it dirty. He's got to get a hold of Saint-Denis. He's got to weather the storm early and then hopefully utilize his game plan second, third round. But luckily, this is a 5-round fight. So the longer that Moicano survives, I think the more that this will play into his favor. And as for Saint-Denis, I mean, do you continue to kind of get you, do you continue to do what got you to the dance? The pressure, the not worrying about how much time is left on the clock, right? Is he going to go out there and just go balls to the wall and try and finish Moicano? Because what happens if he doesn't? That's my big question. This first round, I got Saint-Denis all day with a possible finish. But after that, I think it could be a whole new fight, whole new thing. And with it being 25 minutes too, I think that plays into the advantage of Moicano as well. So I think Saint-Denis, if he gets it done, I think he's going to have to get it done early. And if he drops Moicano, don't follow it up on the ground. But then again, like, I don't know, man. That's just what I think. Saint-Denis, I would like to see him just be more patient, utilize his energy in a more efficient way. And if he does hurt Moicano or drop Moicano, force him to stand back up and fight him in those striking exchanges, because that is where Moicano always usually typically struggles. And as for Moicano, just weather the storm. Just try and just bite down and just chip away at the gas tank of Saint-Denis and just keep a relentless pressure on getting it to the ground, because that is where you can take over. Long story short, if you made it this far in the video. But I think that Moicano, I think that he has the veteran savvy ability to get this fight done. He just has a really tricky way of finding a way to win, just not against those top 5 guys. And this is where we really get to truly see where Saint-Denis, because even though he is coming off that loss to Poirier, I'm curious to see how he bounces back off that loss as well. The strength thing too, I think, matters as well. I think because you have Saint-Denis, who has fought at welterweight before, and you have Moicano, who has fought at featherweight before. That also might play a huge factor when it comes to the strength as well in this fight. But I'm going to go with Money Moicano in this fight. I don't know why. Because I just feel like the X's and O's screams Saint-Denis. But I just think that the heart, the determination, the grit of Moicano, I think that will be the biggest factor and attribute for him to find the victory in this fight. But nonetheless, I could be totally fucking wrong, because Saint-Denis is a killer, a berserker, and a fucking assassin in the lightweight division. I'm just curious to see how he's going to bounce back after that loss to Dustin Poirier. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today. Mr. Mustache, MMA news out. Let's fucking go, fight fans.